In this session, we are going to see about what is called module and what is called package, and then followed by that how to read and write with the help of CSV file. So these are the three things that we are going to see in this session. So first, let's see about what is module. Okay. So module is nothing but it is also a file which consists of a related code. That is, it groups the related code into a single file. So whichever the codes that are related, so those related code are put into a single file, that is nothing but module. So why we are using this module? So what is the necessity of this module? Why we have to group? Because so we are, if we are developing some projects means, so we will use more than one file, right? So for example, if we are using 10 files for a particular project means, some code, some logic will be repeatedly used in many files. For example, out of 10, if we are using a particular code in 4 files repeatedly, the same logic is repeated in 4 files. So which means these files, these repeated code are reused code in multiple area. So these repeatedly used code can be put into a single file that can be created as a module. So once if we have created a module, then wherever you want it in your program, so inside that program, it is just enough to import that module. If you import the particular module, you can make use of all the code that is present inside the module. So wherever you want in your project, you can just use that module and get access to all those functions and variables that are present inside the module. So module, it is nothing but a file. It consists of a related code, or it groups the related code under a single file. Okay. So why do we need this module means, if we want to use the same logic in multiple location, then you can create a module with that code. So that module can be imported in wherever you want it, and you can make use of that code in the inside the module. So that is the necessity of module. So this module can consist of functions and classes and then variables. So this module code can consist of many functions, different kind of functions. Then classes. Classes means it is a combination of variable and function. Combine combine the data and the function, that is nothing but classes. And then variables. So a module can consist of a code which may be of functions or classes or the variables. So that is nothing but module. Okay, so let's see some example related to the module. So I have already told a module is nothing but a file, right? So here the module name is support.py. So this is a Python file which is named as support. Okay. So this is created as a module. Module is nothing but a file. Okay. So inside that file, so I can have many functions, many variables, and many classes. Okay. So simply in this example, I have only one function inside the module. For a simple demo, I have just given only one function which is named as print underscore function, and one parameter is passed. So what is inside this? This is just a simple function. Print hello, and what is the argument that is passed, that will be displayed as output. Okay. So this is a module which is named as support.py. That is a Python file, right? Okay. So once we have created a module, then how do we use this module in our program? Okay. So that is with the help of import statement. So once we have created a module means, wherever you want, you can import this module with the help of import statement. It is very simple. Just the syntax is import keyword and then module. So that if you want to import many modules means, you give the module names separated by commas. For example, here a support module is there, right? So one more module I have developed. Develop. There is a module called develop. I want to import that also. Then what is the syntax here? Import support comma develop. So whatever the modules that you want to import it in your program, you just list those modules with the help of import statement. So that is the usage of import statement. So import statement, it is used to import the modules that are required for your program. So that's it. So once if you have used the import statement, so where this module is located exactly, you will store it as a file in your system, but how your program will search this module. Okay, so what is the search path where this module is exactly stored, and how our program will go and search that module and load the module into the current program that we are working in now. Okay, so how to search that module? So the search path is nothing but a list of directories, which means folders. So it will search in the current working folder. So if it is not there, then it goes to the remaining folders that are inside the current working directory. So it goes on searching folders and folders and find out the module called support. Then it will import that module, that is load the support module into the current program where we are accessing that module now. Okay, so we have created, so here we have created a support module, right? So inside I have created only one function. If I want to import this support into my program, okay, so let's see this example, you will know it. So this is my program, you assume this is my program. So in this I want to make use of support module. So I use the import statement, and this is a module name. So which means that here this support module is imported into this current program. Okay, so after that, how the functions inside this module can be accessed. Okay, so this module may consist of many functions or variables like that. So how this can be accessed in my program after importing the module. Okay, so after importing it, I'll just use the module name dot operator followed by function or a variable, whichever you want it. So here I want to just call the function print underscore function, which is in the support module. Okay, so here what is the parameter I have passed? Zara. So automatically what the program will do, it will go to this support module and search this function, and this function will be started executing. Okay, so automatically this function, what is the code? Print underscore function code is here Zara is passed as input, right? So automatically what will do? This will execute this function, which means what will be produced as output? Hello. What is the power? Zara. So what will be produced? Hello Zara. So let's see the output. So if you execute this program, it will load the support module. Then the support module call the function print underscore function. Then so this will be started executing, and finally it produce the output as Zara. Okay. So this is the output that is produced finally. So I think now you understood how do you create a module and how do you import the module into a program. Then how do you access the function inside any module? Isn't it? Right? So module is nothing but a file. It is just a simple Python file. Inside that file, you can give any function definition or any variables values or any classes definition. So those things can be given inside that Python file. Okay, so that module can be imported in your program using the import statement. Next, after that, using that module name, you can access the function. Wherever you want it, using that module name, you can access the function inside that particular module. So automatically that function will be called and executed, and the corresponding output is produced. So this is the way we are creating a module and importing a module into the another program, and you can make use of those functions inside the module in your program. So once only one time if the module is loaded means that is enough. You can use the functions many times inside that module. This is one time I am calling. You can call many times. Okay. So one times if the module is loaded, you can use the functions or variables many times in your program. So that is the advantage of importing the modules. And the next one is there is some variation in the import statement. So this is another variation of import statement. So from and then import. So from import means what is the difference between from import and import means. So in import statement you will load the entire module. But in from import statement, if you don't want to load the entire module, you just want to access only particular functions. For example, if I want to access only two functions, or if I want to access only one function in that module means, then I can go for using a from import statement. So from which module I am importing, then followed by keyword and then followed by what are the function names. Okay, what are the function names or variables you want to access in that particular module. So specifically if you want to access certain code inside the module, then you can go for using from import statement. So let's see the example. So here there is a module called fib. So in this fib module I just want to import only one function, that is called Fibonacci. So it is not necessary to import the entire module. Okay. So in this case, I just want to import only one function. So I will use from module name import and then what is the function I want to access in that module. Okay. So that is the usage of from import statement and the import statement. In case if you want to access all the things inside that module means there is another variation, that is from module name import star. Star means all the functionalities in all the code or the logic that is present inside the module will be imported. So either you can use just import module name or from module name import star. So either of these two you can use it for loading the entire module. Just import and then module name, that is enough, or else from module name then import star. So this will also load the entire module. So these are the different variation of import statements. So one import statement is, it is very simple, just import then module name, which will load the entire module. Okay, entire module into your program. If you want to load only specific module, specific function inside that module means from import statement you have to use it. Or else if you want to load all the things inside the module into your program means from module name and then import and star. So this will load again the entire module into your program. So these are the different variation of import statement. Next one is, so once if we are using an import statement, then how the system will locate the modules. How the system will come to know where the modules are stored in your program. Stored in your system. So how it access the module inside the system. So there are three ways. There are three locations the modules can store. One is in the current working directory, which means where we are working our Python program, our own Python program. So in that path itself, the module can be available. That is the first search. Next, in case if the module is not found in the current working directory, then it will search the each and every directory in the variable called Python path. So there is a shell variable which is called Python path. Inside this, it will check all the directory, whether the particular module is available or not. In case if again the module is not found, then it will check the default path, which means where your Python program is stored. Okay, in which location your Python software is loaded. So that is the default path. So it will check the default path. So either your module can be located in the current directory, or your module can be located inside Python path, or else your module can be located in the default path, which means where your Python software is installed. Okay. So in this three ways we can locate the module. So this path to locate the module, this entire path, whether it is a current working directory or a Python path or the installation where your Python software is installed. So this path is stored in the variable called sys.path. Okay. So this is a variable which contains the path location of the module. So automatically when you are importing some modules inside your program, automatically first this sys.path variable is checked. So what is the path that is stored inside this variable? Then it accesses that path and then it goes to the path and load the module into your current program. So in this way, a module is located and then it is loaded into your current program. So that's all about modules. Next one is packages. So packages means it is nothing but a collection of modules. So we have already seen module is nothing but a collection of functions or variables which are related to each other. Okay. So packages means collection of modules which are related. Okay. So this packages can consist of many modules, or also it can consist of other packages. So a single package may consist of modules and also another packages. So that is nothing but packages. So that's all about modules and packages. Module is nothing but a simple file, Python file, which can consist of many functions or the variables or the classes. So packages means which can consist of many modules and another packages. So that's all about modules and packages. So next thing we are going to see about how to read and write CSV files in Python. So first we'll see what is CSV file and then how to read and write CSV files in Python with the help of dictionary or with the help of Pandas library. So let's see each one. So first we'll see what is CSV file. So CSV, which means comma separated value. So how this file is existing means it is nothing but an Excel file. So which will store the content as a plain text. It doesn't contain any other thing. It just contains plain text file. So here how the arrangement means it is arranged in the form of tabular structure. So how the data, how the text, plain text can be stored means in the form of tabular data. So CSV file is nothing but a plain text file which can store the data in a tabular form. So this plain text means just a printable ASCII or the Unicode characters. It doesn't contain some other special symbols. Okay, it contains only the printable characters. What are the printable ASCII or the Unicode representation characters? Only those characters can be included in the text data. Other things we cannot include it. So how that each and every data can be separated means by with the help of a comma operator. So it is stored in the form of table structure. Table structure means how it is stored, columns and rows. It will be stored. How each column is separated, how the value in each row is separated, which means with the help of comma. So that's why it is named as comma separated value. So this CSV file, it can contain only text, which means a printable ASCII or the Unicode characters. And how the data will be stored means it is in the form of tabular structure, and how each value will be separated. That is, each column is separated means with the help of comma. So look at this. This is the structure of a CSV file. So first is column 1 name and column 2 name and column 3 name. So it is stored in the form of a tabular form. So always the table will consist of the header part, that is field names or the column names as the first row. Okay. Then the next row is the actual data part. Right. So the first row will be the header, and the next remaining rows, all those remaining rows are the actual text data. And how each data is separated means with the help of comma operator. Okay. So this is a structure of CSV file. So the first line always it represents the name of the data column, and the subsequent lines that are followed will contain the actual data. So here comma is used for separation of value. Other delimiters, that is delimiters are nothing but separators. So what are the other separators that can be used means that also possible, that is tab or colon or semicolon characters. So these things also can be used for separating a value, that is separating a column value in the CSV file. So next one, how do you parse CSV files with the help of built-in CSV library? So let's see in the next one how to read and write into CSV files. So as I told you, right, CSV files means nothing but an Excel file. So let's open the Excel file. I will show you what is called CSV exactly. You just open the Excel file. So always how the data can be stored in Excel file. So it is in the form of columns and rows only, right? So here, so Excel file always will store the data in the form of columns and rows, right? So here I can use the first one. The first one will be the header part, right? And the next one is the actual data. Okay. So here, in this way you can generate the text data. Then you can save. So while saving, this is very much important. You just look into it. Save as, first time if you are saving means you will give save as and choose the location. So here you look into this. So what is the type of file? So in this type of file you have to choose CSV comma delimited. Okay. So CSV comma delimited. You have to select this, which means this is a CSV file. Here the delimiter that is used is comma. That is a separator. So select this type of file and give some name. Okay. I am giving the name as EEE. Okay. Then save it. Now I have created a CSV file. You give S. So now I have created a CSV file. This contains some text data in the form of tabular structure. So here you need not to use comma here. Automatically it checks the value. I mean it separates the value by comma. So by default it assumes that there is a comma that is in between the each and every column. Okay. So you just give the data as like the tabular structure. That is enough. Okay. So in this way you can create a CSV file, and whatever the data that is related to your project or that is related to your application, you can store the data in this CSV file and finally you can save it. Okay. So here I have created a CSV file and I have stored some data. So in this way you can create it. So next we'll see how do you read the content from the CSV file. So here always when you want to read or when you want to write in the file, then what you have to do, first you have to open that file, then you can perform either a read operation or you can perform write operation. So that is the most essential thing. So let's see an example. So here this is a text file. Okay. So you assume that this is a txt file that consists of, what is that? Name. The first one is always the header file. Name, department, birthday, and then month. So the remaining two rows are consist of the actual data. So what is that name? John Smith, accounting, November. Erica Mayers, IT, March. So this is a file that I have created as a CSV file, right? So what I have to do first, if I want to perform a read operation or write operation on the CSV file, then I have to import the module called CSV. So this CSV module is available in the library. Automatically that entire module is getting loaded into your current program, that what you are working now. Okay, so this may consist of many built-in functions, variables that we can make use of it inside this program, your program. Okay, so once if it is imported, then I have to open the file, right? So with, this is a keyword, and open, this is also a keyword. So then inside that, what is the file that has to be opened as? Okay, as this file has to be opened as a CSV file. Okay, so this is under this name I have opened my file. So what will happen? If I have opened the file, then I have to perform either read operation or the write operation. Okay, so I perform the read. So using, there is a function called reader in this CSV module. So this is a module name dot, this is a function. So what are the parameters I have given inside? The file name. Okay, where is the file name located? So this file name is named as CSV underscore file. So I have passed this file name, and then the delimiter, how the file should be read. What is the separation that is used? So I have used CSV, so comma is used. So delimiter is comma here. So how this file will be read means, each and every column it will read, and it will use comma as a separation operator. Okay, so this reader function will read the entire file which is named as employee birthday. Okay, so then I have initialized the variable lines count is equal to 0. Okay, I have to calculate how many lines in that file, CSV file. Just I want to calculate it. So what I have to do? I have to read each and every line in that file. So always I will use for loop for row in CSV underscore reader. So where the entire file is located? So this entire file is read here, and it is stored in the variable CSV underscore reader. So in this variable, I will read each and every row. So in this variable, I will read each and every row. So first row is stored in row. So initially the line count will be 0. So what will happen? Print, this F means it is a formatted string. So this contains some formatters. Already we have seen format operator in Python, right? So format operator means while you are mentioning the string, so using the curly braces, you can represent some formats for the strings. So if these kind of formatting strings we are used means, inside the print, you can use F. So if you are not using also, there is not at all a problem. But if you can use, there are some Python version which will use F inside the print for representing the string as a formatting string. Okay. So initially line count will be 0. Okay. What is the first line of your CSV file? Always the first row will be the header.